Two Ramble videos in a row because that's all I really have the mental capacity for, you know. And today I didn't film anything else at all. I had plenty of opportunities to go see things. All sorts of things that were posted on my meetup group. Not all of the other atheist related meetup groups that I am a part of. For those of you who don't know, I actually run a meetup group, and it's all about activism. Go figure, right? But basically, anyone's allowed to come and suggest or post stuff, and if somebody posts a few good ones, I just kind of bump them up to co-organizer. I've got a whole bunch of co-organizers on it. And basically, it's to make sure that nobody in the city misses any good protest event. So, yeah, there were 3 things in a row that were pasted onto my meetup group, and I didn't go to any of the 3 tonight. I was supposed to end up going to this paranormal thing that was on the Pikes Peak Skeptic Society's meetup group. And once again, I'm just going to take down the things that I talk about in this free flow sort of ramble vlog, and just I'll leave links in the bottom below so that you guys can see what I was talking about. So yeah, my meetup site. And basically, some people had gone through some shit recently in the Pikes Peak Skeptic Society, and they didn't feel like going to see somebody bullshit about paranormal things. They, real life has kind of put a cramp on things, so yeah. We went to Scooters, which is like a frozen yogurt type coffee house thing. I had some coffee, and the coffee made me sick. And then, once everyone with children had gone home, we decided to go to Old Chicago, which is right next door. And I ordered the bruschetta and some chicken wings, and I couldn't order a Mountain Dew, even though Old Chicago has Pepsi products. Couldn't order a Mountain Dew. Because the coffee had made me feel like so caffeine sick. I don't know what was in that coffee. It was, ugh. So I ordered some sort of non-alcoholic, just watery thing with strawberries in it. So yeah, I would crack open a Mountain Dew right now, but yeah, that one coffee was like really loaded. And I'm not the only one that felt that way when we left that coffee shop. But yeah, we kind of didn't go to anything that was available for us to go to. And for those of you who think that there's nothing going on in your town, just join meetup.com and then put in all the keywords, and you'll see that there's plenty to do in your neck of the woods. You just have to know where to look. And Meetup is an awesome website. But yeah, we didn't go to anything that we could have gone to because everyone was burnout on their job or other things. And one guy in particular, he had been laid off, and I was talking with him because we both are part of the same union, and yeah, we were kind of commiserating about the state of our union and the economy and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, that's what I did. And although my camera was in my pocket the whole time, I just didn't find anything that I felt like sharing with you guys. Sometimes I just live life, without the camera, coming out. And then at the end of the day, I have nothing to show you at all, except for just rambling like this. And so, Queenie. We'll talk about Queenie. I think I just inspired Queenie by giving her the link to a movie which myself was personally inspired by 2 years ago, and it's called Exit Through the Gift Shop. Um, and I can leave a link to the Vimeo where somebody has uploaded it to Vimeo, and I don't know if it was the people who own the copyright or anything, but it's on Vimeo. Um, Maybe I shouldn't leave a link to things like that, though. I should just tell you that I found a link to it on Vimeo, and you guys should find that one on your own, because, yeah, the piracy Nazis are coming for you, you know? Anyways, since doing that, I talked with Queenie. She said she hadn't even finished the movie, but it had inspired her to do some art and stuff. So yeah, she's busy doing art, and probably some of it is for the road trip that we're about to take. So if you're one of those people that's on our path and that we're visiting, then you're probably going to see some of it. But I highly recommend that movie, Exit Through the Gift Shop. It's awesome. I still haven't watched Occupy Unmasked. Somebody told me, even though I said in my ramble that I didn't want anyone to buy it for me, somebody told me that they had bought it for me and asked for my address. That's awesome, but people try not to buy anything for me. Not really feeling like people buying stuff for me right now. I've got a bit of karma to pay back to the world. Yeah. So, as far as art that you could see out of me that is inspired by the movie Exit Through the Gift Shop, there is this motif that you'll see in a lot of things around my city of Colorado Springs. It's the mountain range around Pikes Peak, and sometimes people try to get it exactly, sometimes people just try to half-ass it. And this was an example of somebody half-assing it, and they made a political bumper sticker with this mountain sign in the back. And in some of my earlier videos, if you saw my computer in it, there was a bumper sticker that said tourist. And I need another one because I just had, while I was on my last road trip, somebody borrowed that computer and still hasn't returned it. And on the outside of that computer, I had a whole bunch of stickers and stuff. So I'm going to have to get another tourist bumper sticker because that was where that one went. But this politician, he made for the primary in my state, he made a bumper sticker, and it had his name on it right here, and it said vote for him, right? And instead of like just letting these bumper stickers go to waste because he got elected, you know, I took a look at it and I was like, I don't need his name. The message of just vote is awesome. So I cut his name off the bottom. And I've got 3 of them. And it's an awesome message, just to vote. And so I'm now looking about like where I'm going to put these vote bumper stickers. There's only 3 of them. Not enough to go around. But it's like making art out of somebody else's art, which is part of that movie. So, yeah. Around Thanksgiving Day, you're going to see a video here on my channel once again calling for a channel hiatus. And I won't be posting anything until about, probably the 7th or 8th of December. Because I got to get back and then I have to, like, render all the stuff. But I'm going on this road trip collecting a lot of stuff, and I haven't had the same backlog of videos to post to you guys. I'm not really as backed up as I have been. That's why you're getting 2 rambles in a row, and I feel like after this trip I should have like a bomb of all sorts of footage to give out to you guys, and part of it is going to be following around Schizophrenic Queen as she finds places for her paintings, and trying to see where all of her art goes. And if you watch this documentary exit through the gift shop, you'll understand why I shared this video with her, and it ended up inspiring her even more, and all that. So yeah, again, it's on Vimeo. I don't want to link to it. It's probably on some video sharing services as well. So I don't want to give too much away about some of the art projects that I have swimming around in my mind as far as what I want to do on the way. But I've got the entire southwest portion of the United States as my canvas. And I do want to do some things. So, yeah. It's hard to make a ramble when that's like foremost on my mind, and I don't even want to talk about what I'm going to do, because I want to spoil the videos that are to come. So, some of you might remember that a long time ago on my channel, almost a year ago, I posted a couple videos where I was riding in my truck with my own mother. And if you were to search the word mom on my channel, I'm pretty sure you'd find 1, 2, and 3 these videos that I posted with conversations with her. And lately I've been preparing for when I get back from my road trip. I want my my entire work area like completely clear of all crap, and I've been collecting letters from my biological mother, who along with other things, she has this symptom of her mental maladies, and it is called autographia. Sorry, hypergraphia. Now, hypergraphia is when you write on a piece of paper, right? And you can't find enough space on this paper. You've got to start writing on the sides. You just can't stop writing. And this has been like all of her life. But you see this doodle right here. When you start seeing things like that, that's hypergraphia right there. And designs that kind of spread out like fractals, and people that are deep in thought when they're doing it. And I know we've all done something like this, like as a little art project, but when you see it happen so often, you just can't ignore it. And at the same time, the page is filled up with writing, and then little things written on the side. Here in my collection of things that I'm putting these away, because I'm clearing up like all the different letters that I had stuffed everywhere. This is a postcard, and it was using like all sorts of old postage, but you can see how on the back it was written all over in very tiny print to fit a whole bunch of stuff. And then she couldn't even color between the lines. She followed the rules of a postcard. She had to start writing right here on the bottom to get that last word in. And this has been a theme that I've dealt with her for a while. And there's a reason why I save all these. They, to me, are evidence of what is wrong, and I know it's going to come to a point where I'm going to have to assume power of attorney over her, make a whole bunch of life decisions for her. And that time probably won't be for another 10 years, of me worrying. But, at least when that time comes, I'm saving all this stuff so that, I can show this history of symptoms. So this is what the back of an envelope looks like when she mails it. Right? This time she got the front right. She got the rules of, sender and addressee. So that's awesome. Little pieces of paper come to me, in the middle of a letter that are just completely, totally, I didn't rip this. This just I guess she had a spare piece of paper and had to get this note out. And it's just such tiny writing to squeeze it all in there. She's been looking at buying a house or even a mobile home, and so here's some ads, and you can see how she's written along the side. You can see this pattern of her writing, squeezing it in wherever she can get it in. I'm doing designs right in the middle of her writing. Stuff like that. Just drawing in the middle of it. This would be hypergraphia, and it's very much not studied by psychologists at all. You can't find much on it. The first reference I found on this, and I when I first heard about it, it was with a television show that I had seen on Court TV, which is now True TV, I think. Since then, I have left cable and satellite TV behind. But it was an episode of The System called Dangerous Mind, right? And in it, there was a woman who physically resembled my mother, and she had all these mannerisms that I was like, wow, really close to emulating the kind of things that I see in my own mother. And so I'm watching this show, and this woman is drinking a cup of coffee during breakfast, and she's renting just one room of her house out to she's renting a room out of the house from a guy who's the landlord of the whole place, and he rents a couple of his rooms out of his home. And she's sitting at the kitchen table, and then she shoots him right there. And she shot him because she thought he worked for the CIA. And then after shooting him, she called the police on herself and turned herself in to the police right there, like right from the kitchen table. And so seeing all of these similarities between her, the way that she acted, and the way that she presented herself in the interviews in this show, I made this decision a while back. I remember recording this in 2005. And I had a VHS recorder, and I had a DVR from my cable company as well, which was Roadrunner in Wisconsin. So I saved it on my DVR the next time it came through on Court TV, and then I recorded it onto tape in order to be able to show some other members of my family so that they would understand some of these decisions that I've made, one of which is I am never living with her, period. Because I've had things happen in my life while I was living or just visiting with her that I don't want to get worse. One of which was, I remember the last time that I saw her as a kid when I was 16. At 17 and 18, I didn't have to visit her anymore. My parents had joint custody, but at 16, I remember I was asleep, and I woke up in the middle of the night to her cutting my hair while I was asleep, snipping at my bangs. And it was because she did not like the fact that I had long hair. And when I got up and started screaming at her, like wanting to throw fists and everything, her excuse was, "Oh no, the hair fairy did it," you know. And yeah, I can remember while I was in the Army around 1999, I drove from the base that I was stationed at to my grandmother's house, and my mother learned that I was going to be visiting, so she stayed there as well. And while I was there in that house, I was crashed on a couch, and because with other people coming, like my mother, all the beds were taken. But I got a sheet, and I slept with my head underneath the sheet, even though I had a military haircut by then. Just one of those things. I feel like when you wake up with a sharp instrument around you and somebody's using it on you, you probably don't want to live with that person. Especially when you can draw similarities to bad situations where people live with each other and they act just like her. So if this ever comes up on Netflix nowadays, The System, Dangerous Mind, this is pretty much what I have to deal with. And I keep this in the same shoebox here that I keep all of these papers in, because to me it's not from her, but it explains so much of how I'm dealing with this problem. So if you got any questions about that kind of stuff, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I'm pretty open about it. Right now I'm just, kind of cleaning up, and I've had a good flurry of letters come to me all together for a while she wasn't sending me letters because somebody taught her how to send text messages over the phone, and um, every so often I answer just to let her know that I'm alive on the other side. But really, it's as hard as it is for me to have a phone conversation with her. It's even harder to keep my attention on some of the long novel length things that she texts to me. She is the reason why I have an unlimited text message plan. Um, Here we have what was a notepad, with the metal rings on it, and both sides really cramped writing. Basically, anything that she can write a letter to me on, she will. Anything. Um, and it's not just me. She's anyone in my family that she has their address, she will keep the address in her purse and then just write and write and write and send things to people. And some of the things are horrible, like telling my Aunt Gladys that we're all inbred and related to George Washington, and that her husband is a bad person. We'll just say that much. And telling everyone that my Aunt Pat is actually an android replacement, and that the real Aunt Pat was bludgeoned to death with a claw hammer by my cousin Charlene, and that's why she painted her walls red in her house. And the only part of that is true, like in reality, is that Charlene actually did have red walls in her living room for a while. So, yeah. When other members of my family receive this stuff, they tend to dwell on it, read it, and try to understand it. And I, on the other hand, just kind of pack it away. I skim it to see if she's in trouble. I don't want to miss the message of, hey, I'm out of money and don't have any food in my house. Yeah, that would suck if she was like crying out for help like that, but she doesn't seem to do that ever. Oh, look, this is where she's written out for me a vitamin schedule of all the different vitamins that I should take in a day. She takes a lot of them. But yeah, it's some of it is so poorly written and so tight with the cursive that I could spend hours just trying to unravel one paragraph, and I've been reading her writing all my life, so yeah, it's pretty bad. And then when you finally do decipher what all it was she wanted to say, you realize that you never wanted to hear that from her, because she's backbiting somebody that in the past had helped her out. And so, that it kind of angers me when someone has done something like pay her utility bills for like 5 years in a row, that she would say something hurtful about that person. I'm like, but she's not in her right mind, so it all goes in the box. And when the time comes, it'll all go to the doctor, so that they can see how much she's progressed. Some of it is even still in the envelope that she sent it in, and it's dated. So you can kind of take the year that she sent it, and kind of construct the deconstruction of somebody's mind as they get older. So, sometimes when I take that whole don't ever delete anything aspect and apply it to other parts of my life, I can actually see benefits coming out of it that other people I don't think would. I mean, I think that a lot of people would just take letters like that and throw them in the trash. But I think that it'll be a really big help for that 1 day or 3 days that she's getting her first evaluation, when I finally have to take control over her life. So, yeah. New topic, everyone. Have I depressed everyone who's been watching until now? I don't know. I was going to talk about this. I'm having trouble picking some up. I was going to talk about this in my last ramble, and I actually had it in my hand, and I didn't bother talking about it. So, my friend Karen, who I'm going to be meeting for coffee on Saturday, she wanted me to rethink my stance on Ron Paul. She says that he is every bit as dominionist and reconstructionist as a Christian as Rick Santorum. And there was a reason that I would, side with Ron Paul instead of Rick Santorum in order to get some variety out of the Republican Party as a delegate. And she seems to think that everything I think about Ron Paul is wrong. Like, everything. And I even have criticisms of Ron Paul, but I've been of the opinion that if we're going to try to prevent Christian Reconstructionists and Christian Dominionists from taking over the country, if we're going to support somebody in the primary system, we need to support the person who is more for civil liberties and less about pushing a Christian agenda on us. And when I went by those principles, Ron Paul, to me, came out ahead of all the others. She disagrees. So I don't know who she would have had me back, if we were to, in hindsight, look back at the Republican primary and try to pick the person who we wanted the most to win, so that, we would limit the amount of evil that would eventually become that lesser of two evils choice. I don't know who she would want me to back, but she is really adamant that all atheists that have been backing Ron Paul are retarded, and they need to really investigate things before they start supporting someone. So she gave me these printouts, and she told me that she'd email me them because there's links on them. But Ron Paul on economic policy. Ron Paul promises big cuts in his new ad. He wants to cut the Department of Education. Not something that I'm in favor of. Department of Energy, HUD, Interior and Commerce. He's just going to cut those entire departments. Uh, yeah, that I knew about him. Then there's a video. Ron Paul wants to end Medicare, Social Security, and Medicaid. Did not know about him. Okay, so Ron Paul calls for the federal lands to be sold off to private owners. Um, I'm actually in favor of that on a large scale because I don't believe that when things are in a commons that anyone protects them. Um, it's yeah, just look up the tragedy of the commons. Um, Basically, when people start privately owning sections of the planet, they start taking better care of it. But if the federal government just leases the use of that land, when people come in to rape it for natural resources, they leave it a mess because they don't own it. They don't have to take care of it. And that's what's happening right now. A lot of federal land is being leased for fracking, where if you look at the fracking pads that are on the federal land, just use Google Earth to do this. Look at all the trails that they carve in to put all the fracking on federal land, and then look at where it's private land that's owned by somebody who's leasing it to the the company like Ultra or Schlumberger or whatnot, and then look at how they take care of that pad and the surrounding area, and you'll see there's a huge difference because if nobody owns it, nobody fucking cares. The same goes for oyster beds in Louisiana. Um, if one person owns an entire section of marsh where the brackish water meets the ocean and the oysters are right there, if they own it, they can make sure that the oysters are harvested in a way where they replenish themselves year after year. But if you let everyone go in and harvest them all up, then there will be none left for the next year to replenish the population. And so I say, um, yeah, there's a call to have a lot of federal lands, like national parks and stuff. But if there's federal land that is doing nothing, and there's people that want to buy it and do stuff with it and take care of it, fine. Privatize. It's a lot better than leasing it as federal land for raping. Um, Video. Ron Paul plans to eventually end all federal student aid. Now on its face, I can't watch the video because I can't click on this, but she's gonna send me the links. But yeah, if he said that, then I would be in opposition to him because I am one of those people who was a beneficiary of federal aid for students, and I like promoting education. Um, there's a video on his budget, Ron Paul in a nutshell. Um, he's anti-union and workers' rights, which probably would rub me the wrong way, seeing as I do have a union ticket, and yeah, I don't buy into the whole like unions are what destroyed Detroit, and it was people wanting the union wages. I am a firm believer in at least having a livable wage, but also I think that people should organize more than they are now, in that if a job is not paying enough to live on, nobody should take it. And people should, be told that if everyone demanded a wage that they could live by, then you know, companies would have to pay more. But if there's somebody that's willing to take that job at that lower wage, then things will never change. You know? So basically, we all have to have higher standards of living and not be willing to sell each other down the river in order to secure the job, which, you know, it would take a ginormous education on just that across the entire country for it to work. Without, you know, just having giant corporations lower our wages year after year and, you know, make the income gap greater. Let's see. Apparently, Ron Paul's stance on the separation of church and state is a myth, because he doesn't like the war on religion. There's quotes from him saying the notion of a rigid separation between church and state has no basis in either the text of the Constitution or the writings of our founding fathers. On the contrary, our founders' political views were strongly informed by their religious beliefs. Yada, yada, yada. I already disagree with it. And I think that most people who are Ron Paul supporters, they don't see Ron Paul like this. This was from December 2003. That was 9 years ago. So, you know, once I get these links, you know, emailed to me, I will look at it and see if it's an actual video. And if he said that stuff, you know, it's a wonder that nobody's picked up on it by now. Yeah, I didn't like in the first Republican debate where he said that he believed that marriage should be decided by the church, because I'm an atheist and I don't think anything about me should be decided by a fucking church. Let's see. And then here's a heading that says Ron Paul, Civil Libertarian. Not so much. 6 rights you could lose under President Paul. He's part of the John Birch Society. Apparently, Rand Paul said in Ron Paul's presence that we wouldn't need laws if everyone were Christian. Oh, man, that's funny. Ron Paul proposes legislation to allow states to ban birth control. Ron Paul rejects evolution. I've actually seen that video. Ron Paul's powerful pro-life ad. Ron Paul on Fox Business. Global warming is a hoax. He's anti-LGBT. Yeah. So basically, Karen wanted me to see all of these videos, and this is like an entire dossier on why a liberal person should not like Ron Paul and think that he is a libertarian. This is apparently right there on about.com. 6 civil liberties you could lose under Ron Paul. Under President Ron Paul. I guess you guys find that yourselves. And this one is the Eureka report. And she's actually left me a whole bunch of notes. And apparently I'm supposed to go to theocracywatch.com, or theocracywatch.org rather, and see how Paul Weyrich is this Christian Reconstructionist following the Seven Mountain Mandate, and he's basically giving a whole bunch of Christian reasons why people should be libertarians. And then after taking over the Libertarian Party, I suppose they want to do things that you wouldn't think that a libertarian would do, but they'll give some sort of justification for it that's Christian. So, yeah. Basically, if you make a video on YouTube where you say that you're trying to limit, the lesser of two evils, like if I had selected Rick Santorum as the lesser candidate within that primary in order to, for all of us to throw our votes towards him, I'm pretty sure I would have had somebody scream, "How could you back Rick Santorum?" And it's not always that it's somebody that you like that you back. It's somebody that you're playing the lesser of two evils a little bit earlier than the general election. You're trying to limit the amount of evil that comes into that equation of the lesser of two evils by taking one side and trying to make sure that the person that's the least evil makes it to the general election. So, yeah. I've had in the Pikes Peak Skeptic Society, I've had Karen and Reverend Renee, and I've had a couple other people ask me, why is it that I have put up thumb likes on Facebook on Ron Paul and Rick Santorum and Mitt Romney? And the answer is, you can't post your videos on their pages until you like the pages on Facebook. So, nobody should think that I like something just because I put it, the up thumb like on Facebook on a page, especially when, if you follow me one step further, what I'm doing is I'm taking a video where I'm completely trashing that candidate, and I am placing it right where the people who love that candidate will see it. Now, I know a lot of you might expect everyone to operate as if they live in an echo chamber. And, just talking to the enemy is a bad thing. But in my mind, you might disagree with me here, but in my mind, it's very good to have a discussion with people who disagree with you on things, rather than just keep on talking to other people that agree with you. I first saw that term echo chamber in a movie called Koch Brothers Exposed. But I've heard it applied to Atheism Plus, their forums, that they all agree with each other, and their safe place to talk about things with each other, their safe forum is actually, excluding anyone who disagrees with them. If they disagree, they get banned, and then they're safe to talk about their ideas in a way where no one's going to disagree with them. Not what I'm looking for in life. And so I take my videos, like Mitt Romney Corruption Exposed. You can do a search on my channel for that and find it. And I take a video like that, and I paste it right on the Mitt Romney for President 2012 Facebook fan page. Just trying to get somebody from the other perspective to look at it, and maybe they'll agree with me and change their mind, but maybe they'll have something to say that changes my mind. Okay? So, yeah, that's the thought process behind it. The only other thing that I have to say is very serious and very brief. If you see somebody make a cry for help and you think that they may be suicidal, do not think that you are capable of handling the situation by talking to them directly. Immediately let the authorities know. I was in a situation where I saw a bunch of people had treated a situation with that sort of disregard that, yeah, maybe just by talking nicely to someone that they might be able to talk them out of that kind of situation. And what I have to say to that is, you're not a professional. Call the damn police if somebody says that they are suicidal. Okay? That's it. Even if you are a professional, if you were one, you'd know that going about things that way with comments on YouTube is not the way to go. And if you see the comments piling up and nobody doing the right thing, do not be a bystander. Okay? I know a lot of you are probably thinking that this is a lesson, uh, born from something as recent as Amanda Todd, you know. But some of you probably also remember something like William Cardno. And if you have a problem, with the idea of calling the authorities right away when somebody says that they might be suicidal, slap yourself upside the head, remember William Cardno, and fucking make the call. Okay? Do not fucking be a bystander. This is serious shit. Nobody needs to die. Alright? That's all I got for tonight. Hopefully something a little bit more produced and short and pithy coming in the next few days, but I've been busy.